been a fascinating experience that no matter where I go in the world, there are two things that all nonprofits have in common, which is, number one, capacity. This is a common story everywhere. I'm the communications director, but I'm also the volunteer manager and the office manager and the event planner. It is very difficult to get nonprofit staff to have the number of hours allotted and paid that they actually need to do their job. So it's the same in the Philippines, it's the same in the United States, it's the same in Canada. Everywhere that problem exists. And also, it's getting a little bit better, but the second similarity is trying to get organizational buy-in, meaning the executive staff and the board value that mobile and social media is important, but more important, they understand that it costs money, and they're willing to invest financially in launching sound mobile and social media campaigns. So those are two very common struggles that nonprofits have in common worldwide, no matter where they're at. And I'd have to say, one of the ways that nonprofits are different, which really surprised me, because coming of age in the United States, where email marketing and email communications and email fundraising was so powerful, it was the evolution in online communications that raised the money online. It was our first tool that we had for mass communications. That I can go to countries in Asia Pacific, like we've been to in the Philippines or Singapore or Malaysia, and email communications and fundraising just never seemed to have happened there. So it's almost like I'm training it like it's 2005 or 2006. So that's actually quite exciting, because they can learn from our mistakes. They skip the 5 to 6 years of experimenting, and they can just go directly to what works. So email has spread at different levels, time speeds, depending on geography and location. So that's how they're not similar in the same country, in the countries that I go to. The most important is learn from our mistakes. Not only does using email travel at a different speed, but so does social media. And I don't say this like America's great, we're number one, we're using social media before everybody else. It's just that the tools were invented, most of them in our country, so they spread in 2005, 2006, 2007. That was the early adoption phase. So a lot of these countries in Asia Pacific, the early adoption phase was 2009, 2010, and 2011. So in many ways, they're still experimenting. They're trying to figure out what works on Facebook and what works on Twitter and how to integrate into your website and your email communications. Well, we've learned that because we've been doing it for 10 years. So read the studies that come out from US-based nonprofits about how to use social media. Like, follow, subscribe, and study what the large nonprofits based in the US are doing now. Again, not because we're great, but because they've got more time invested, they've narrowed down the best practices, and we're actually entering the phase in the United States where the online fundraising is really starting to take off, as well as the mobile fundraising. So you can learn from our mistakes and skip all Well, it's been an amazing experience, I have to say, first of all, because my background is in international development. So in my 20s, traveling the world, trying to make a difference, not just in the United States, but outside of my home country, was always a great passion that I had. So being given this opportunity to travel to numerous countries in Asia Pacific and actually put my skills to work and then watch the ripple effect of that, whether I'm training a nonprofit in Malaysia how to use Twitter, and then they reach out to me on Twitter, and then I watch them over the next couple of months and see them get better at what they do. That is just very powerful for me. It's very meaningful for me to be able, one, to do this, and then two, see the impact. It's like, I've always believed you can sit at your computer and it's like this magic machine that you type buttons and then things happen and it spreads all over the internet. But living in my time zone, you tend to tweet and Facebook and think and live in the bubble of your own time zone. And being able to come over here now for 3 years, once a year, we've actually done 4 trips, it is a constant reminder to not only tweet and Facebook and live in my time zone, but to study other nonprofits. It's made me a better trainer. It's made me more well-rounded in my approach to causes, social media, mobile media, and it's just amazing.